What's up, folks? It's your boy Bob Hollywood here, back with another exciting review. Today's review, this retro review, is going to be of this Legendary Comic Book Heroes series, Clownface and Panda from the Body Bags comics. These two figures look awesome. We have Clownface, Mac Delgado, he's huge, and we have Panda, his daughter. I think her name's Carmen, and she's much smaller. On the back, we see all the figures from the line. I think there's two waves or two series. There's a Pit series that came with Ripclaw, the Pit series included Ripclaw, Judge Dredd, Super Patriot, Madman, Savage Dragon, and Witchblade. I have all of those except for Judge Dredd. I do not have Pit. I've bought them randomly used off of eBay before I even knew what they were. Yeah, they're cool figures. And then the Monkey Man series, we have Marv, Star, Striker, Judge Death, Darkness, and Ann O'Brien. I don't have any of those. I don't have Monkey Man. And there's also a two-pack, another two-pack, because this is clearly a two-pack, from Conan, featuring Conan and Rawr. I'm guessing I'm pronouncing that right. He looks more like he could be a Mythic Legions figure. But these guys are all cool, man. That Savage Dragon is one of my favorite figures. Ripclaw is cool. I wish he had different hands or more hands, even though that's probably comic accurate. Madman's a cool figure. Witchblade is a cool figure. I mean, she's showing her... Witchblade and Super Patriot are showing their age more than any of the others. And again, these I don't know much about at all. I mean, I want the Ann O'Brien, but that's about it. Anyway, let's look at this bio for for Clownface and Panda. It says... Let me turn the flash off. Can I do that for you guys? It says... Mac's as big as a house and as mean as a bull elephant. Panda's as pretty as a rose and as dangerous as a cobra. They're the daddy-daughter bounty hunting team from Body Bags. Mac Delgado, a veteran bounty hunter known as Clownface, and his overzealous teenage daughter Panda do business in Terminus, Georgia. Like any parent-child relationship, Mac is very protective of his daughter, while Panda constantly fights for her father's respect and permission to set out on dangerous missions with him and his partner Pops. Now, mind you, and I've covered this on the What's in the Box that I did sometime back. Like recently, not like sometime back, like months and months back. I don't know anything about these guys. I had seen Clownface before, but I was thinking he was I didn't know what I thought he was. Clearly he has a clown's face. But I saw a Panda in an eBay lot, and I was like, oh, that's a cool looking figure. I didn't win that. It went past what I was willing to bid, and then I wanted to buy these two together when I found that they were a pair. But every time I would see them, Mac only had one knife. And it just was grating on me, and I paid more money to get Mac with both of his knives. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and bust these guys out of their plastic prison, even though from what I've since learned about the two, they deserve to be in prison, but I'll BRB, buddies. All right, so I'm back. That took a while. Here are Clownface and Panda. As you see, they don't come with very many accessories. The only accessories in this set are these two knives. They're a little warped, but that's nothing some heat can apply. And heat's going to be very necessary because I didn't have any trouble with Panda, but with Clownface, he is stiff. I tried to move this, didn't want to budge. I think it was this or this, I can't remember. Didn't want to budge, I left it. I didn't want to apply any heat right now. I'll do that later, so might not be able to give you the fullest of his articulation, which is unfortunate because he is a cool looking figure. Also with his pants, I was trying to figure out what you see. He clearly has ball joint hips. I was trying to figure out where they are so I could rotate them. And I can see now, right there, that's where it is. But this thigh rotates, and the knee rotates. This rotates separately. So I was trying to get him to stand up straight, and I had zero luck with that. But as you can see, he's wearing a black shirt, and this is supposedly Kevlar, and that's why it covers his head like that as well. And I would say khaki pants. He looks like a cholo. He looks like he is from the West Coast and Hispanic from the West Coast, which he is Hispanic, but the comic takes place here on the East Coast. And look at his huge feet. And I'm going to go through his articulation at one point, but he has toe joints. That looks super awkward, but that's a huge foot, man. It looks like he's wearing the Converse. I just got my first pair of Converse in my 35 years. This will be my 36th year of life. I just got my first pair around Christmas. So, yay. But yeah, Mac looks cool. This is shiny. Had a little bit of a scuff here, straight out of the packaging. And that's not wiping off. It looks like there's some up there. But he looks good, man. Like his pants look like pants or feel like pants. There's texture there. His shoes, there's texture there at the front. It doesn't go around the sides, but I think that looks pretty good, especially with the little painting there. It's like I said, this isn't just a t-shirt. If this was just a t-shirt and it was shiny like this, I would take an issue with that. But it's not just a t-shirt, it's his body armor essentially. And you got these two big sheaths for his swords. I'm gonna go ahead and put them in. I'm gonna put one in, and they're the same sword. I'm gonna put one in his hand. And I know this is, he just looks weird because I'm not posing him. I'm not doing anything with his articulation really. And it's loose in his hand in terms of how it looks, but it's not coming out. Not in that right hand, even with the adjustable fingers. Yeah, it fell out of his right hand. And I said it wasn't coming out of his right hand. I meant to say his left hand. I'm going to put both swords, or excuse me, both knives in the sheaths. And then hopefully that'll help straighten it up some. I'm going to put him back. Oh, he also has this chain. He has like a belt around him. That's a softer plastic. Like if I dug my nail into that, it would make an imprint. I'm not going to do it. And he also has this belt, which is a real chain. That was taped down to his leg in the package. I mean, I knew he had the chain, but it was taped in place. I guess they didn't want the package to jiggle and jangle and make a lot of noise. And here is his daughter. And there's probably two things you noticed about this character. Three, if you're counting individually. Two is that she is super proportioned up top. That's how she's drawn. That's how the figure's made. Apparently, the creator of the comic designed her after a girl he knew in school, and that is what it is. The other thing is you'll notice how short her skirt is. It's just super short. But yeah, the weird thing about this character is I think she's supposed to be like 14. This is a child. This is a kid. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can do what you want in your action figure world. She can be an adult. I mean, she could be an adult. No one's stopping that from happening. I'm just saying in the actual books, she's a child. Now, my only issue with her, max issue is he's stiff right now. That could be able to get fixed. If not, he just might be pretty to look at. My only issue with her is, and I didn't realize this until after I ordered it and I read a review, this gun in her hand is permanently affixed. It doesn't come out. There's no losing it. I can play around after I apply some heat and maybe see if I can get the wrist out, the hand out, because as you can see, and this isn't me going over the articulation, but as you can see, it rotates. So that means it's on a peg in there. It might be able to just pop out. I can try to match the tones and the peg and get her a different hand. Other than that, she's just a normal figure. I mean, she's like a teenager. If her skirt wasn't so short, I would put her with the other teenagers I have. I mean, but you can't go to school like this. And again, she's not in school. She's a bodybacker. She's an assassin. So, but I do love how happy she looks, or maybe psychotic is a better term. But her face looks great. The sculpting in these figures are great. I believe these are Toy Biz. Did it say on her anywhere? It's something there, but I can't really. I can't tell. Maybe I'll have better luck on him if it's on his pants or hopefully his bottom of his shoe. But these are greatly sculpted. The only issue with figures back then, when this newer articulation was coming around, ball joint hips and proportions. And by that I mean, for the Toy Biz Marvel Legends Juggernaut, large ape hands, his waist. Here on his waist, he would slide around. It was horrible. But Matt looks way better. And I believe that Juggernaut was one of the earlier waves of Marvel Legends, and this came out later. I didn't read the year on the box. All that'll be presented to you in the video. In the video's title and whatnot. But here's these two. Again, this is just the two figures. No articulation. I haven't gone over the articulation. I'm going to do that the best I can. I'm going to do ladies first because she's smaller and has less articulation. Her head is going to rotate 360. Or at least it would if her ponytail wasn't hitting her shoulders. It tilts to the side. You got wobble, back and forth, that much down, that much up. Not much up or down. Again, the hair is really stopping it from going up. Her right arm, her arm where she has her gun, rotates at that shoulder. It goes up and out that much, but there's not a lot of movement there. And there's not a lot of movement. It rotates. Does it rotate? No, it does not rotate at the bicep, but it rotates at the wrist, as I was showing you before. Her left arm, similar, rotates there. It does have a swivel there. There is a bicep swivel there. It's on both. It just needs some heat. But again, not the greatest range of motion. No movement at the elbows on either arm. So her arms are stuck this way, but it rotates at that wrist again. I like this little bracelet she has on her left hand, on her left wrist. For her torso, there's two pieces. There's a top where you see the P, and then there is where her skirt meets her shirt. For the legs go out that much. Not much forward. Not much back. There is a thigh swivel. Single jointed knee, which doesn't give you much range of motion. Foot is just on a peg. So there's a peg going down into the shoe. But there's also, just like with her father, there is toe articulation. So that's Panda. And she stands no problem. Let's go over Max. Max, a bigger boy. His head rotates 360. If it wants to focus, his head rotates 360. Oh, his whole body wants to turn. Goes up, down, let's do the shoulder. This shoulder's not giving me any issues. You can clearly see his joints. With her, you couldn't. So it goes up pretty high. It's going to rotate. And you can hear, well, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's like detension there. Then his elbow, do a little straightening. It goes up that much. So he can't even really like do a curl his arms. Look at his biceps. I guess he works out plenty. But it goes back that much. Hand rotates at the wrist. And there is a hinge there. And then his hand, his fingers, are all individually articulated. So he can grab things. And you saw earlier, he could hold that knife pretty easily. This side, okay, it was his elbow that was giving me trouble. Goes up, same, no issue. I'm going to need to apply some heat to that. But his articulation works, man. At the wrist, at the waist, he has less articulation. Oh, no, I spoke too soon. But it rotates. He has that little ab, not an ab crunch, but just underneath his chest is where his stomach meets. It rotates, goes side to side, allows him to bend, and you can hear, yeah, you can hear. But then he also rotates there. But because of the shape, it's not round, it's oblong, he's not going to turn any better than that. Now the legs, I can tell you where he has the articulation, but I can't guarantee that I can do it for you on the camera. But his legs go up like that. Maybe he's gonna take some classes with Chun-Li. And holy shit, he's a huge figure. As you can see, he is balancing on his own. He is doing his little sidekick on his own. That's amazing. Modern figures can't do that are much smaller. His knee, yeah, that sounded painful. But I'm seeing where the pants line up, so that helps me. I'm seeing where, at least on the other side. Okay, no, I turn this. And now his pants are lined, and he's almost straight. I just got to, if I can get this ball joint to let me press it in, there we go. He'll stand up straight. Bam. I mean, it's a little stiff the way he's standing, but I just wanted to be able to get his legs straight. So there's the ball joint, hip means thigh cut, knee, which bends not very far. And then we take it down to the feet for his last bits of articulation. Rotates there. And again, it's probably just, yeah, I can see it's just a peg. But this time the peg is going into the pants as opposed to Panda's where the peg was coming down into her foot. And there's a toe articulation. So the only thing left to do with these two is size comparisons. And let me get you their individual heights before we go on to compare them to the review crew. So his height, max height, is 7 1/4 inches tall. He's a big, beefy boy. And Panda is just about at 5, maybe a little bit under. But she's petite. She's petite. Great petite. All right. Usually don't have 2 figures at a time, but who cares? We're doing it today. So, Overwatch guy. And I think at this point I've made a point to not learn his name. And John Jones. Both of these characters are going to be in between the 2 figures we are reviewing today. Roadblock. And I was going to put Roadblock on the side of Panda, but I just want to give you guys some scale. Roadblock is not a small guy. And then Beast Morpher's Red Ranger. Again, they both fall in between our two compared figures. This isn't a small guy. He's not huge, but he's tall. The next, well, the tallest in the review crew, and he's actually looks like their heads are almost on the same level as Titus O'Neil. And then we have Winston Zedmore. And then we have the King, in my eyes, Eric Killmonger. Not necessarily because of his views in the movie, just in my little action figure world. I prefer him over T'Challa. I love that figure. And Landell Calrissian. And there's a lot of yellow in this photo. Lando's yellow. Killmonger is gold. And I want to say this is the last comparison. And there's more yellow. Even more yellow, if you can believe it. Vixen. Let's see if she'll stand. Yeah, Vixen. And Andrea. I haven't seen the show in a while. I don't remember how she pronounces it. So there's that. There's those four. Again, Panda was shorter than everybody we had here today. And Clownface, Mac, was taller than everyone. I think the closest one that came to him was Titus O'Neil. But anyway, these two figures are cool. Lots of paint. Lots of paint. You can see this is sculpted in this black, and there's paint here for his flesh tone. Even on the hinge. Her, less paint, but still some good paint. I think this red P is painted. Her shoes are painted. Her flesh is just molded in that color. Unlike him, his is paint. But anyway, this father-daughter duo is great. I wish they came with more accessories, but again, apparently Mac uses knives as opposed to guns. He doesn't need them. He's a huge, massively strong person, and he does work with those knives. And her gun is affixed to her hand. I wish that wasn't the case, but other than that, she's a perfect figure. I just wish he had a different hand. Mac, he's gonna need some heat, and then he might be a perfect figure. Anyway, there's one thing you should know, and that is to love yourself always, no matter what. No matter what the world's throwing at you, no matter what the people in your lives are throwing at you, whether it's intentional or unintentional, because people are people, just love yourself. And the world's not perfect, neither are you, but you can still do good. So love yourself. Anyway, action figures speak louder than words. Peace.